Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Zentz, and I'm going to talk to you about my five top video games of all time. I actually keep my video games ranked in my cabinet next to my Xbox based on favoritism, so it was pretty easy to just grab the top five. You can call me nerd, whatever, I don't care. So let's get started. Number five is Dead Space 2 by EA. I've always been a big fan of the Dead Space franchise because I like survival horror games. I mean, normally I'm a first-person shooter type of guy, but I like certain third-person shooters such as Dead Space, Gears of War, Tomb Raider, that kind of thing. So I thought Dead Space 2 was the best of the three games because 3, the plot seemed like it was a little weak at sometimes, and it just dragged on, it felt like. And 1, you play as this guy named Isaac Clarke in all three games, and in the first game you don't really get to know him. He doesn't talk, you don't really get to see what he looks like, none of that. You just play as him. Second game, you get to know him. He talks, he interacts, you get to see his emotions, things like that. It was really cool. Plot was really psychological, and I like that kind of thing in a game. Kept me interested to the very end, and I thought the ending was great. So, great game overall. Number 4, for the next 4 games, I actually have all achievements for these games, so you'll play them a lot. Number 4, you can call me cliche, but I'm going to go with Call of Duty Black Ops. This game came out when I was a sophomore in high school, so my friends and I couldn't drive yet, so we played it all the time. I'll talk a little bit about 3 aspects of the game, so I'll start with campaign. This game's campaign was actually also a very psychological game, which you don't see in Call of Duty. Call of Duty is usually shoot 'em up, explosions, that type of thing. Characters were well defined. I was very attached to the characters. When one of them died, I felt sad, which I like in a game actually. And just fun game overall. Multiplayer wasn't bad. A new aspect of the game was the money system, which brought in the wager matches, which I thought were a ton of fun, so I liked it. And then there's zombies, which I'm a huge fan of. It's my favorite part of any Call of Duty. My friends and I, we're all pretty good. We can get pretty far whenever we want on any map, really. Whole storyline is really cool how it just plays into each other in every map and is slowly revealed. And there's tons of Easter eggs, which me and my friends all get into. Now, number 3 is Far Cry 3, which is by Ubisoft. Great game, my favorite open world game of all time. You take the place of a guy named Jason Brody, who's trapped on this tropical island, which makes the game look beautiful because it's on a tropical island. And he's trapped there, and the mission of the game is to save your friends who are captured by these drug lords and slave traders. And it's really cool because throughout the game, the tagline is you have to journey into the heart of insanity in order to save your friends. You actually become one with the island. And at the end of the game, you get to choose, do I want to stay on the island because I feel like it's my destiny, or do I want to go off with my friends? Game's great because it's all about character development. Jason starts as your normal guy who's never killed anybody, and by the end of the game he's developed into this bloodthirsty killer who is one with the island. And not just Jason is the only great character in the game. All other characters, like the villains such as Voss and Hoyt, and your friends such as Willis and Dennis, are all really well defined and really fun to interact with. And the gameplay is really cool. Combat is great. Great first person shooter all around, if you ask me. It's really fun. You get to, throughout the game, you learn these skills, and every skill is a new tattoo on your arm, so by the end of the game you got a full sleeve of tattoos on your arm. And plot was really great. It was long, it was explosive, there were some twists I didn't see coming, and just a lot of fun. Now, number 2 is BioShock Infinite by 2K and Irrational. This game, I was really excited for it to come out because I'm a huge fan of the BioShock franchise. I actually got it at midnight on the release, and I love it. Great setting. It's in a city in the sky. You play as a guy named Booker trying to rescue this girl named Elizabeth and take her out of the city. Combat's great because there's your gun in your right hand. You have these things called vigors in your left hand, which you can throw, and you can jump up on the skyline, which is a little like railing that takes you around the battlefield. So there's a ton of different approaches to go about the game, but the thing that makes it so special is the plot. Just simple as that. The end of the game, the last about 15 minutes, are the most mind-blowing 15 minutes of any video game I've ever played. The whole plot just reveals itself at the end. You get to find out all these things you've been wondering about. There's certain things about the game you don't understand until the very end, which I thought was really cool. And just a great game all around. Characters are well defined, great plot, great story, great setting. So now number 1 is the original BioShock by 2K Games. This game's great. I'll talk a little bit more about it since it's my favorite game. You start out as a guy named Jack on an airplane. That's your character. 1960 over the Atlantic Ocean, and it turns out the plane crashes and you end up in this underwater city called Rapture. Now, Rapture was created by this man named Andrew Ryan, who was looking for really the perfect city. He rejected the ideas of capitalism, communism, and Christianity because he didn't like their beliefs. Felt like they destroyed the common man, so he made a city named Rapture to fix all those. And when you get down to Rapture, it's actually a wreck. It's in ruins. There's bodies everywhere, things like that. So the whole game is about unraveling the story of yourself and the city itself, which is, and the way it's done is great. Graphics are beautiful. Setting is unbelievable. Everywhere you look, it's mind-blowing because you're in an underwater city. Combat's really fun. It's a lot like Infinite. You start with a gun in your right hand and then these things called plasmids in your left hand. Now, plasmids are things that allow you to like shoot lightning, fire, ice, whatever, and you actually inject them into your wrist. It's kind of like drugs. And that's what turned the people of the city against the city. They became splicers, is what they call them, which is almost like drug addicts. And that's what turned the city upside down. And the thing that makes the game great is about 2/3 of the way through the game, it is an unbelievable plot twist that I never saw coming. And I still think it's mind-blowing to this day. It makes you rethink the entire way that you've played the game, which is rare. Nothing like that ever happens in video games or even in movies. That's what makes this game so unique in the video game world, is that it feels like a movie, a great movie. It's a great game that I love to play. It won a ton of video game awards. And also, it's got decisions you have to make through it. On the cover of the game, you can see a Big Daddy, which is this robot guy. And then if you look in the corner, there's a little girl. They call them Little Sisters. Now, Little Sisters carry this thing called Atom, which makes plasmids possible. And you need that to beat the game. So when you want a little sister, you have to kill the Big Daddy, which is a decently good fight whenever you want to kill one. And after you kill him, you have to deal with the little sister in one of two ways. You can either kill her and get a lot of Atom, or you can save her and get less Atom. So the whole game is about unraveling the story of this city and yourself through these decisions. And, of course, there's great action, great plot twists, things like that. And it reveals all these great aspects of what would happen in a utopian society. Would it fail or would it succeed? That's up to you to decide. So that's it, guys. That's my top 5 games. I thank you for listening, and keep it real. Would you kindly? Have a good one.